My holiday brief this year was relaxation. Not too much to ask, I suppose. I started by researching the smallest countries in Europe to ensure minimal movement would be required to get around. And bingo, I came across Montenegro. This little gem of a country is only 2/3 of the size of Wales and is far enough south to almost guarantee good weather in October. Almost. We flew into Tivet, which is just a 20-minute drive to Kotor, where we began our trip. The Bay of Kotor is one of the most stunning destinations I've ever visited. I can only compare it to Lake Como in Italy. Kotor is home to a quaint and delightful old town. We rejoiced in exploring the cobbled maze of medieval streets. While the old town is carless, don't underestimate the sheer amounts of human traffic that pile in during the day. So we're just finishing up our cups of coffee and then we're going to take on the city walls to go up into the fortress. Apparently it takes about 1 hour to get up there, so better drink up. The Kotor Fortress is situated at an elevation of 260 metres above sea level and is made up of 1,300 steps. You can stop and take a break at the placards along the way, which give you a great insight into the rich history of this fortification dating back to the 9th century. With a taste for altitude, we next headed to the Kotor Cable Car for even more spectacular views of the Bay of Kotor. We've just gone up Kotor Cable Car, which is about a 10-minute drive from the Kotor Starry Grad, and we're about to embark on the Alpine Coaster, a little roller coaster at the top of the mountain. Slightly windswept, we ventured on to our next destination, Budva, another delightful city on the Adriatic coast. I highly recommend starting the day with a kayaking tour over the turquoise waters, where you can get a great view of Budva's Old Town, along with its coastal caves. Cheers, darling. We're at Sveti Stefan, the bougie hotel island in Montenegro that's currently shut. However, the views of the sea and the surrounding area make it worth visiting despite it being closed. And this beach, A-star for relaxation, hey?
Very good.
Olivia got her way.
2 hours.
2 hours, maximum. After watching the sun disappear behind Sveti Stefan, we had dinner in Budva's Old Town at the beautiful Citadela restaurant. Our next stop was Lake Skadar, the largest lake in southern Europe. Home to 281 species of bird, it's a sanctuary for wildlife and vegetation. We took a boat trip from Virpazar, which allowed us to experience the tranquility of the lake firsthand. We stayed in a gorgeous family-run vineyard just outside of Virpazar, where we sampled delicious wine made from the Vranac grape variety, native to the Balkans. After a stunning 5 days of beautiful weather, our luck finally ran out. We watched as clouds descended on the mountains as we made our way to Durmitor National Park. There are a few sites to stop off at on the way there to break up the 3-hour journey. So we've just driven up the winding road up to Ostrog Monastery, which is one of the most revered Orthodox Christian sites in the whole of the Balkans. The weather seemed to only be getting worse as we arrived at our cabin for the night. So we've woken up to the news that our rafting trip on the Tara River has been cancelled. So sad. We'll have to come back, but alas, I don't know if you can hear it, but the wind is so strong throughout the whole night. This hut that we're staying in was literally shaking. I don't think we slept at all. It's pretty extreme. Thunder, lightning. I mean, it's probably for the best.
And I was convinced that despite all of that, you would still make us do it.
Slightly dampened spirits were not going to stop us from enjoying our last day in Montenegro. Once the storm had eased in the afternoon, we headed to the Black Lake to do a short hike around its perimeter. I also managed to get the adrenaline kick I'd been craving by doing a zipline across Tara Canyon. And most importantly, Olivia had enjoyed a half day of rest and relaxation in our cosy wooden cabin.